The alarm rings. The darkness is still pressed against your window, and before your eyes are even fully open, the battle has already begun. You know the exact feeling I'm talking about, the immediate, suffocating weight of the day pressing down on your chest. The rush of anxiety about the emails you haven't answered, the bills you have to pay, the conversations you are dreading, and the creeping, silent fear that you are somehow falling behind in a race you never even agreed to run. What do? If you're like the vast majority of modern society, you surrender immediately. You reach over to your nightstand, you grab your phone. The blue light hits your face, and within 10 seconds of waking up, you have handed the keys of your mind over to the world. You let the news dictate your mood. You let social media dictate your self-worth. You let your inbox dictate your priorities. You have lost the day before you have even taken your first conscious breath. We live in an era where everyone wants to be successful, everyone wants to be wealthy, and everyone wants inner peace. Yet, almost everyone begins their day with an act of complete psychological submission. You think you are just tired, you think you are just catching up on the world. But the brutal, undeniable truth is that you are allowing your mind to be programmed by chaos. Thousands of years ago, the ancient Stoics understood a terrifying and beautiful reality. The morning is not just a time of day, it is a sacred territory. It is the blank canvas of your consciousness. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled the entire Roman Empire, a man who faced plagues, betrayals, and wars, did not wake up and let the world tell him who to be. He woke up in the quiet of the dawn and actively constructed his mind before stepping out of his tent. He knew that if you do not program your mind in the morning, the world will program it for you. Today, we are going to tear down the weak, reactive habits that are currently keeping you trapped in a cycle of anxiety and underachievement. We are going to explore a ruthless, battle-tested Stoic routine that you must execute every single morning before 8 a.m. This is not a soft, feel-good list of motivational quotes. This is a psychological operating system. It is designed to rip you out of autopilot, rewire your neural pathways, and build a mind so unshakable that the world cannot break you. Before we begin this reconstruction, you must make a choice. Are you ready to stop being a victim of your own mornings? If you are tired of losing the day before it even starts, hit the subscribe button right now. Join a community of builders who guard their minds fiercely. Leave a comment below to anchor your intention in reality. Share this video with someone who is currently drowning in their own daily chaos. And do not dare skip a single section of this guide. Every habit we discuss is a brick in the fortress you are about to build. Seal your commitment to this transformation today. Drop this exact vow in the comments right now. I command my morning, and I conquer my day. Number 1. The absolute quarantine of external noise. Your brain in the first hour of waking is like wet cement. It is highly neuroplastic, deeply impressionable, and completely vulnerable. Whatever touches it first will leave a permanent imprint on your emotional baseline for the next 16 hours. When you wake up and immediately expose yourself to the digital world, you're committing an act of mental self-sabotage. You're ingesting the outrage, the tragedies, the demands, and the manufactured perfection of millions of strangers. Your nervous system, which was just in a state of deep rest, is violently shoved into a state of fight or flight. You trigger a spike in cortisol before you have even brushed your teeth. How can you possibly expect to think clearly, to act bravely, or to build a meaningful life when your biological engine is running on panic? To reprogram your mind, you must institute an absolute quarantine of external noise before 8 a.m. The Stoic master Epictetus taught that we must fiercely guard our inner citadel. For the first hour of your day, your phone remains in another room. The television remains off. The news does not exist. You do not check your bank account. You do not look at your messages. You must create a vacuum of silence. In this silence, you will feel deeply uncomfortable at first. Your brain, addicted to cheap dopamine and constant distraction, will scream at you to check your screen. Let it scream. Sit in the quiet. Listen to your own breathing. Make a cup of coffee and stare out the window. When you deny the world access to your first hour, you send a massive, undeniable signal to your subconscious. My peace is more important than your emergencies. I belong to myself before I belong to anyone else. This quarantine is the ultimate display of psychological sovereignty. Lock this boundary into your mind today. Comment below. I protect my peace from the noise. Number 2. The daily amputation of yesterday. You wake up, and immediately your mind begins to drag the heavy, rotting corpses of your past into your present. You think about the argument you had with your partner last night. You replay the embarrassing mistake you made at work. You marinate in the guilt of a diet you broke or a promise you failed to keep. You're carrying yesterday's baggage into today's territory, and it is crushing your ability to move forward. Seneca wrote with devastating clarity, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." Let those words sink into your bones. Each separate day is a separate life. The Stoics did not view time as a continuous, unbroken chain of suffering. They viewed sleep as a mini-death and waking as a literal rebirth. If you want to change your mind forever, you must practice the brutal amputation of yesterday. When you open your eyes, you must remind yourself that the person who made those mistakes yesterday is dead. The failures of the past have absolutely zero physical reality in this current moment. Before 8 a.m., you must consciously perform this mental surgery. Acknowledge whatever went wrong yesterday, extract the cold, hard data from the lesson, and then violently sever the emotional cord. You cannot rewrite what has already happened, but you hold supreme, absolute control over the blank page in front of you. Do not stain today's potential with yesterday's poison. When you master the art of waking up completely empty of regret, you move through the world with a terrifying, unburdened lightness. Drop your declaration of renewal right now. Type this: yesterday is dead. Today I am reborn. Number 3. The baptism of voluntary discomfort. We live in a society that worships comfort. We sleep on memory foam mattresses. We set our thermostats to the perfect temperature. We order food to our doors, and we avoid anything that causes physical or mental friction. As a result, we have become the most fragile, anxious generation in human history. When you build your entire life around avoiding discomfort, the smallest inconvenience, a traffic jam, a rude comment, a slow internet connection, feels like an existential threat. The ancient Stoics despised soft living because they knew it created soft minds. They practiced voluntary discomfort to inoculate themselves against the unpredictable harshness of reality. If you want to build an unbreakable mind, you must initiate your day with a shock to the system. You must do something difficult the very moment you wake up. Throw the warm blankets off immediately. Drop to the floor and do 30 push-ups. Step into the shower and turn the water as cold as it will possibly go. Stand under the freezing water and watch what your mind does. Your mind will panic. It will beg you to turn the hot water back on. It will manufacture a dozen logical excuses for why you should quit. And you will look at that inner voice, and you will say, no. When you intentionally choose to suffer, on your own terms, in the first moments of the day, you completely rewrite your relationship with pain. You prove to yourself, before the sun is even fully up, that you are the master of your physical impulses. If you can conquer the freezing water, if you can conquer the burning in your lungs, the difficult conversation at work will look like a joke. You stop being afraid of the hard things because you have already conquered the hardest thing before breakfast. Anchor this strength in the comments. Write, I seek the fire to forge my mind. Number 4. The premeditation of unavoidable chaos. Most people start their day fueled by a fragile, delusional optimism. They hope traffic will be light. They hope their boss will be in a good mood. They hope everyone will treat them fairly. And when reality inevitably shatters those delicate hopes, they collapse into anger, frustration, and victimhood. They ask, why is this happening to me? Marcus Aurelius did not rely on hope. He relied on preparation. He engaged in an ancient practice known as premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Every morning, sitting in his tent, he actively visualized everything that could possibly go wrong that day. Before 8 a.m., you must sit down and run this mental simulation. Look at your schedule. Who is going to annoy you today? What project is likely to fail? Where will you be tempted to lose your temper? Where will you want to quit? Do not visualize these things to make yourself depressed. Visualize them so that you can preload your response. If you already know your coworker is going to make a passive-aggressive comment at the 10 a.m. meeting, you can decide right now, in the quiet of your morning, exactly how you're going to react. You decide that you will respond with cold, clinical silence. You decide that you will not let their poison infect your peace. When you rehearse the chaos before it arrives, you strip it of the element of surprise. The world loses its ability to shock you. When the disaster strikes, you do not panic. You simply smile internally and say, I have already trained for this. Declare your readiness below. Type this, I am prepared for the storm. Number 5, the installation of a singular focus. Your mind is a chaotic machine. Left to its own devices, it will generate thousands of random, scattered thoughts per hour. You think about your laundry, your career goals, a weird noise your car is making, and a movie you watched last night, all within the span of 3 minutes. This fragmentation of attention is the enemy of greatness. You cannot build a powerful life if your energy is sprayed in 100 different directions. The Stoics believed in the supreme power of directed intention. To reprogram your mind, you must give it an anchor. Before 8 a.m., you must sit down with a piece of physical paper and a pen. You do not write a massive, overwhelming to-do list of 50 items. You ask yourself one singular, defining question. If I could only accomplish one thing today, to consider this day a victory, what would it be? Identify the absolute most critical, needle-moving action in your life right now. Maybe it is finishing that business proposal. Maybe it is having a deeply honest conversation with your spouse. Maybe it is going to the gym, even though you are exhausted. Write that one thing down in large letters. By isolating your focus to a single point, you cut through the illusion of busyness. You give your brain a clear, undeniable mission. Throughout the day, as distractions attempt to pull you off course, that singular focus acts as your North Star, pulling you violently back to what actually matters. Lock in your clarity right now. Comment below. I am driven by singular focus. Number 6. The alignment of identity and action. We live in a culture obsessed with outcomes. People wake up and obsess over what they want to have. They want to have more money. They want to have a better body. They want to have a perfect relationship. But desiring an outcome does not change your life. It only breeds desperation and anxiety when you do not possess it yet. Epictetus taught a radically different approach. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Before 8 a.m., you must stop obsessing over what you want to achieve and start declaring who you are going to be. This is the practice of identity alignment. You must look in the mirror and verbally state the character traits you will embody today. Do not say, I hope I am productive today. Say, I am a disciplined creator who executes without hesitation. Do not say, I hope I don't lose my temper. Say, I am a rock of patience, completely unmoved by the emotional chaos of others. When you speak these declarations out loud, you're issuing a direct command to your subconscious mind. You are not waiting for motivation to strike. You're establishing the law of your own character. When your actions throughout the day perfectly align with the identity you declared in the morning, you generate a massive, undeniable surge of self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of all human confidence. Claim your new identity today. Drop this in the comments. I am the architect of my own character. Number 7. The confrontation with mortality. This is the darkest and most liberating habit of the Stoic morning. You move through your days with a casual, dangerous arrogance. You act as though your time is infinite. You delay your dreams, you hold on to petty grudges, and you avoid taking risks because you implicitly believe that you have thousands of tomorrows waiting for you in the bank. But you do not. Your time is bleeding out second by second, and you can never, ever earn it back. Memento mori, remember that you will die. Marcus Aurelius used this not to depress himself, but to awaken himself. You could leave life right now, he wrote. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Every morning, before 8 a.m., you must spend 60 seconds confronting your own mortality. Imagine the absolute certainty of your death. Imagine the clock stopping. Look at the trivial nonsense you are worried about today, the traffic, the awkward email, the opinion of a stranger, and view it through the chilling, clarifying lens of a deathbed. When you realize that your heart will eventually beat for the final time, the petty fears that hold you back instantly evaporate. Does it really matter if someone laughs at your business idea when you are both going to be dust? Does it make sense to stay angry at someone you love when today could be the last time you see them? The awareness of death destroys procrastination. It destroys ego. It replaces anxiety with a fierce, burning urgency to live completely, boldly, and without apology. Anchor this truth to your soul. Type this below. My time is sacred, and I will not waste it. Number 8. The total surrender of the uncontrollable. By the time you finish your morning routine, you are armored, you are focused, you are ready. But there is one final, crucial mechanism you must lock into place before you step out the door. If you forget this, the world will still break you. You must formally, consciously surrender everything that is outside of your control. We suffer because we demand that the universe obeys our preferences. We demand that people like us. We demand that our investments succeed. We demand that we stay healthy. And when reality deviates from our demands, we experience intense psychological agony. The Stoic draws a vicious, unforgiving line between the internal and the external. Before 8 a.m., You must mentally list the things you cannot control today. The economy, the mood of your boss, the traffic, the past, the opinions of society. Picture yourself holding these things in your hands, and then picture yourself dropping them on the floor and walking away. You must make a vow. Today, I will only invest my premium energy into my own effort, my own integrity, and my own responses. When you stop trying to wrestle the universe into submission, a massive, crushing weight lifts off your shoulders. You stop fighting gravity. You become like water, fluid, adaptable, and completely unbothered by the rocks in your path. You enter the day not as a dictator trying to force outcomes, but as a sovereign master of your own internal state. Leave your final declaration in the comments. I control my mind. I release the rest. This is the Stoic morning. This is how the 1% of the 1% forge their reality. It is not about waking up at a specific hour just to brag about it. It is not about drinking green juice or checking off a list of trendy habits. It is about going to war for your own mind before the world has a chance to invade it. When you quarantine the noise, amputate yesterday, embrace the cold, prepare for the chaos, lock in your focus, declare your identity, remember your death, and surrender the uncontrollable. You cease to be a normal human being. You become a force of nature. You will walk into your workplace, your school, or your home, and people will feel the difference. They will feel a density in your presence. They will see that you are not frantic, you are not anxious, and you are not desperate for their approval. You will carry a quiet, lethal confidence because you know that you have already won the hardest battle of the day. The battle against yourself. Will it be easy? Absolutely not. Tomorrow morning, your bed will feel warm. Your phone will sit there, begging you to look at it. Your brain will offer you 1,000 comfortable excuses to skip the discipline and go back to sleep. But you are no longer the person who negotiates with weakness. You are the architect of an inner citadel. If you have made it to the very end of this video, it proves that you possess a hunger for greatness that the masses completely lack. You're not here to be entertained. You're here to be transformed. Prove it right now. Cement this mindset into your reality. Hit the like button to lock in your progress. Share this video with a friend who needs to wake up, and make sure you are subscribed so you never lose your edge. Leave your final, unbreakable vow in the comments below. Every morning, I rebuild my mind. Stay grounded, stay disciplined. Guard your inner citadel. I will see you in the next one.